Welcome to Website and TV. I'm Gemma Houghton. Today I'm here with Martin Sponholtz, who's the founder of AeroGuest, software which is used by hotels and hospitality brands to enhance and improve the guest journey. Today we're going to be talking about customer loyalty in the travel industry. Hi Martin, thank you for being here.
Hi Gemma, it's good to be here.
So, how important is loyalty in the travel sector?
Well, I think hotel loyalty programs are very, very important to hotels. Mm-hmm. So it has a lot to do with returning customers and creating these very loyal guests that return to the hotel and keep using their brand.
And how can digital tools and platforms really help hotels to do this and really build these relationships?
So the old way of thinking about these things is this marketing funnel. So the idea is that we really only sell a product once. So we target a whole bunch of people, and they go through this funnel, and in the end there's a few remaining that we have sold this product to, and then that's it. Then we're done. There's a newer way of thinking about this, which is the customer infinity loop, which is the idea that even after you've sold the product, they'll keep having thoughts about the company, thoughts about the product, and so on, yep. And keep being interested in this company and having some sort of feelings about the company, yep. Or values to the company. And so in that case, it's really important to support that journey. Mm-hmm. So this journey that the customer has in using the product, and that's really where our competencies come in, because we support this digitalization of the guest journey. So all of these touch points that they have during the stay at hotels, we are able to support these and create a really powerful experience, powerful value-adding experience to the guests that they also take with them after they leave the hotel. One
of the benefits is having access to so much data as well that helps you learn from past guests and improve the experience for next time and for future guests. What kind of data can and should brands be taking from using software such as yours, and how can they then use that to improve what they do in the future?
Yeah, so I think hotels today, they're quite good at working with data from the booking situation. So there's a lot of investments that have been made in many years into booking channels, mm-hmm. booking providers, and so on, and being able to handle data with that and optimizing revenue. Yeah. But quite little has been done in the area of the actual interaction with the hotel. So mm-hmm. while the guest is staying there. And there's a lot of data to work with there. Of course, there's the basic hotels data from the property management system, the bookings, and so on. But there's also IoT data, so Internet of Things data, devices that are gaining connectivity. And we're seeing this a lot in this area actually. Right now it's locks, so locks are becoming digitalized at hotels, mm-hmm. And this of course gives some data. But it could also be things like proximity and beacons, which also give a lot of data as to the movements that people are making at the location. So there's both IoT data and there's the hotel zone data. There's also things as guest profiling data. So data that sort of tells you about the profile of the customer or the guest, and finally, we also have third-party data, so all sorts of data from the world that you can take in, mm-hmm. And this can give quite a powerful picture of the guests that you have staying at a hotel.
So then, once you've got that data and you can see, like you say, using the various different sources to really build up quite a clear picture, what are some of the ways that can be used most effectively to enhance what the hotel's offering? So
I think. In-destination services and experiences is a good example of this. Mm-hmm. So in AeroGuest, we also have a concept of offering services and experiences in what we call the hotel universe. Mm-hmm. So it's able to configure various experiences at the hotel or in the city, but also services as well. This could be taxis or restaurants or amusement parks or anything like that. So this can be configured, and if it's possible to track which guest profiles are interested in which sort of in-destination experiences or services, then of course you can target that at these guests. And it's very, very much like what Amazon these bookstores did a long time ago, which is being able to show the books that you would probably be interested in. Mm-hmm. So the same thing can be done in the hotel industry as well.
People who like this museum also like this museum, or
exactly.
that
and
kind of idea.
There's of course a huge difference here, because business guests at hotels, they're of course going to have one profile, and leisure tourists will be quite a different profile.
Yeah.
So just to give an example of this, so booking meeting rooms in a city could be interesting for business guests, and booking luggage storage could be interesting for leisure guests.
Yeah, so it's about understanding the needs and making sure that you're giving them the response to that.
And I mean, you know, technology can become quite advanced in this area, because in the end we're talking about data, we're talking about analytics, but we're probably also talking about machine learning at some point. So being able to train machines to discover the patterns of profiles that are interested in certain kinds of services and experiences.
So of course that's looking at what to maybe do when the guest's actually coming and when they're going to be there, and when they've already chosen that they want to stay at your hotel. But how can this data also be used to reach new customers and build marketing campaigns to really ensure that you can widen your reach and increase your customer base?
Well, I mean, it's not really the area that we are in, but of course, all of this data, once you have it, it can be used in that direction. So for example, if you gain a better understanding of which kind of guests are interested or have a good experience at your hotel, then of course you can use this to attract the right kind of profiles to the hotel. So market in that way, you could say. And
with hotels and hospitality, obviously it's a global audience that they're trying to target, and that brings additional challenges. What do you need to think, what are the considerations to take into account when it's an international audience to do with culture, language, and the different behaviours of the audience?
I think we're at quite a basic stage at this point right now with regards to this, but of course there are some things that can be done already. You could talk about this with regards to language as well, or chat with the hotel. It is possible today quite easily actually to do these language translation services. So it's more or less an off-the-shelf thing to be able to, let's say if you have a Chinese guest writing in Mandarin, then it's actually quite easy to translate that into English, and then the response back to Mandarin. So things like that can be done. And then of course, the more data that you have, so once you have quite a lot of data that you've been working with on tourists coming from various geographies, well then it's going to start giving you ideas of these various profiles and what kinds of, if we go back to our earlier conversation, services and experiences which they are interested in. So probably Chinese tourists have a different profile with regards to that than European tourists or American tourists.
Yeah, so you absolutely need to break that down further and make sure that you're considering all the different needs.
Yeah.
So what do you think are the biggest opportunities for travel brands, for hotels, to really embrace what's happening in the digital world and get that step ahead and really prepare themselves for the future?
Well, I also think here we're at quite a basic stage. So looking at airlines and airports, they've been really digitalizing the guest journey for a long time now, for the past 10 or 15 years. And today it's something like 80% of travelers through airports that have used self-service check-in 24 hours before and are more or less just walking through the airport. So they hit security, they're patted down, and then they go from there and go directly into the plane. And we're not really there yet with hotels right now. So very little has been done in the digital guest journey at this point. So it started off a few years ago with some of the big hotel chains in the US, and then it's sort of spread from there. So we're still at quite a basic stage, I would say. So at this time, I would say that hotels should start adopting the digital guest journey, already in the beginning it will help with all these guests they have that would prefer not to stand in line at the reception. Yeah. So there's a lot of those. So probably something like, we're seeing conversion rates already of 20% of the guests coming into the hotel, which are 24 hours before downloading and installing the app, and doing self-service check-in before they arrive at the hotel. So that's actually quite a high figure that we have right off the bat. So in that way, I think the time is really now for hotels to start adopting this technology, and letting the guests that really would prefer to not have to stay in line and use this for a more convenient stay. And then from there on, the sooner that you get started with this, the sooner that you're going to start getting all of this data and being able to use this in a way which will optimize the operations at your hotel. And this is both with regard to saving money, but it also has a lot to do, as we've been talking about, in optimizing revenue. Yeah. And basically, you'll be able to draw a chart with 2 lines on it, one for the revenue per occupied room for guests not using a digital guest journey, and another line for those using the guest journey. And then I think it will become quite evident how powerful this is at creating a more profitable hotel.
And with all the regulation that surrounds collecting personal data and the introduction of the GDPR regulation in Europe at the moment, it's more important than ever to make sure that you're being ethical with the data collecting and not breaking any kind of laws. What is it that brands need to do to make sure that they can get the insights they need and give customers a good experience without going too far across the line?
Well, I think the major thing is that it should be opt-in. So all of these sorts of features based on data should be opt-in based. So essentially, in any sort of digital guest journey platform, it should be something that the guest chooses to do. So they can say, yes, I do want to sign up with Facebook and give you my name and my birth date and my profile picture and things like that. So, but it should not be forced on them. I think that's the most important thing. Yep. And then of course there's more. This is more technical, basic things, but of course how the data is handled and managed. So up to a certain point, it should be managed by the hotel until the user actually signs up and starts using this digital guest journey.
So making sure that you're getting their kind of consent at the start, and then.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of this is really about the consent, of having the consent of the guests to do this, and really, I mean, it's something that they will gladly give you if they see the value in it. So if they feel that there is value in these various propositions that you're giving them based on data, then they'll gladly do it. They'll be happy to be a part of it because it really makes their day easier. Yeah.
So you just take the information and use it wisely.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you very much for sharing your insights today, Martin.
All right. Thanks very much for having me.